All right, folks, now my next guest has been providing a way for retail investors to own many stocks that are going to be coming public, especially one that everybody wants a piece of. Let's bring an entrepreneur share LLC COO, Eva Ados. A lot of titles. Every time you come, you got a new title. Of course, everyone's talking about SpaceX. For a long time now, you've been able to find a way to get these shares, put them into your fund, and people have access to that. Talk now about the excitement that's building up, because this is going to be probably the biggest IPO in history.
In history, the biggest IPO by far. If you look at the previous tech IPOs, they came well under 100 billion. That's 1.75 trillion. We have very strong conviction. That's why we have 205 million in the XOVR ETF, marked at the last tender of 1.25. So we're very comfortable that this is going to give a good premium to current shareholders, perhaps of 40%, if it IPOs at 1.75.
It's hard to believe that it won't. I mean, I'm a critic of IPOs in general because of what's happened to them. I think, people got ripped off in 20 and 21. It feels like obviously different. Also, Elon Musk is talking about when they go public, giving the retail investor a bigger slice of the pie. Instead of 5 or 10%, maybe 30%. You like that idea?
We do like. We are all about democratizing access to private equity. That's why we created XOVR, for everyone out there to have access to pre-IPO companies, and SpaceX to us is the crown jewel. That's why we have such a strong conviction. This IPO is going to be very different than most IPOs out there.
I just got to ask, some people are a little frustrated. They get jumped in line in some of the procedures. Exchanges are rewriting the rules. Are you okay with that? Is it so special that we should be okay with that and look the other way?
I think so. I think especially when it comes to IPOs, if you look at the last IPOs over the last 15 years, for example, Facebook, Airbnb, Uber, Circle, you have a 6-month lockup in the first 6 months, and then we studied them and we saw that they reached the peak of 100 to 130% appreciation in this first 6 months, only to drop after lockup from that peak by about 43% on average.
Right.
So that's going to be mitigated with SpaceX. And the reason is, first of all, Elon owns about 40% of the company.
Right.
Secondly, if there is a fast-track inclusion to the S&P 500 index, that's going to change the game, because then you have $7 to $10 trillion mutual funds and ETFs of passive money following the index, and 8 to 11 trillion of corporate mandates following the index. So that's going to be buying pressure, and that will mitigate the selling pressure we see after lockup.
I love that. That answer I had not heard yet. I love that answer, because that's another thing, I usually wait to buy these IPOs a year later, because they go up, and like a Roman candle, they have this bright, beautiful blow up, and everyone's looking at it, then they drift to earth, and everyone kind of forgets about it. They've got some support here. The other potentially hot IPO could be OpenAI. Right now, the latest valuation, if you add up McDonald's, Disney, Boeing, Uber, all of these, it equals OpenAI. Although I'm hearing some negative scuttlebutt too. Story, that they're trying to sell shares privately. No one wants to buy it. Anthropic's taking market share. What about this as a hot IPO? Are you looking at this?
We did consider it to include it to XOVR, but we want to have the big players that we believe have a strong moat. OpenAI does not have a strong moat.
So just because of size, that doesn't matter, right? I mean,
no.
You're not just going strictly on size.
Actually, after the XAI merging with SpaceX, to me it is clear that SpaceX will be the winner with XAI, because the moat was never about the AI models. The moat was always about infrastructure and having data centers in the space. So Elon is going to have the whole supply chain. It's going to be very hard for any other AI company to compete against him, because they'll have to use his supply chain, just like we see with Amazon Leo.
Let me ask you about Ubiquity. I saw your notes. This is the name you like. I've been in this stock, in and out of it for years. It's starting to really get a big following right now.
Yes, and it's important to know that the founder owns 93% of the company. That's it. We have never. You rarely see a public company with such a high concentration. The free float is about 7%. We really like it. Its fundamentals are very strong, 4 times the profit of the rest of the category. Very, very strong fundamentals.
Great and great execution. Palantir, listen, they keep getting new contracts, they keep executing, and the stock keeps drifting lower.
It is, but I think it's not, and again, it's a volatile market, right? So that's why I feel comfortable owning SpaceX, because at least we know that this is going to hopefully appreciate by the time of the IPO. But it is a volatile market. I like it long term, though, because in these 5 years, it had a tremendous turnaround. It went from having 1 billion in revenue to now having 5 billion in revenue. SG&A accounted for 63% back then. They really were losing big time money. Now it's under 20%. So they really changed how they work, and they've become so much more efficient. And of course, it's something that people need.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was reading this story when Google years ago had a government contract and the workers turned on them. They gave up the contract. It was like a small contract. A small company called Palantir said, "We'll take it." Hey, before I let you go, App Lovin', are you in? You made a ton of money for people on that. It's been up, down, under some pressure.
I did. So now my whole focus is SpaceX. That's why it's such a huge position in the XOVR ETF. That's where I feel comfortable to recommend, because it's kind of a certain, you at least you know that it might IPO at 1.75, and we have it marked at 1.25. So, I'm very careful with everything else.
I got you.
Yes.
Eva, good stuff.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Always great seeing you.